Okay, good. Well, welcome to the call. We have a nice small group, which is cool with me. Um, I just wanted to kind of keep you up to date. On Monday, we have our summer kind of must have list. It'll be about 11 things that we think that are our products and they are going to help you in the summertime. And so, for instance, like a post on the 3-day refresh is going to be a post about the 3-day refresh, but it's going to be talked about how it can help you in the summer, like perhaps how you can use it right before you go on vacation, how you can use it to get back on track when you come back from vacation. How after the summer's done, maybe you can clean up your eating and it could help with sugar. Like if we're going to do something like Recover, we're going to talk about how you can take this Recover and you can make it like into popsicles and things like that. And so there's always going to be like kind of like a summer twist to it. We're going to specifically talk about Beachbody On Demand with Transform 20 and then Lift 4, because we feel like those two programs lend themselves to people successfully being able to do their fitness and have fun in the summer. And so it will always have a twist like that. We are going to give away summer towels to the first 10 people that buy a challenge pack, first new people that buy a challenge pack. And so we'll have a post on there that people can just post their order number, and that will let them, that will let me know. I will take care of the pricing or the to pay for the towels for the first 10 new challenge packs that are sold. So we're going to do that. This is a great chance if you are a brand new coach or you have a brand new coach for your people to jump in. They are literally inviting to almost like a summer sale. They're literally inviting somebody to something that doesn't need a whole lot of work. I already have coaches doing the videos and posts. I am going to pre-post them. And so literally on Monday, Memorial Day, it'll be like, bam, almost every hour, there'll be a different post. And so all they need to do is really put their person in the group, tag them in the things that they think that might be, and have a side conversation with them about what they think about the group and did they see anything. And so, we have to use these opportunities as a way to build momentum. And what I'm noticing is we have all these vehicles, but people aren't taking advantage of it. And so even if you sell a box of Beachbody bars, that's still a sale and it's still money and it's still building your business. And so you have to start taking action in your business. So that leads us to what I wanted to talk about tonight, and I'm taping this call because I think everybody needs to see it. One of the things that I looked at is I went and I started to look at people's social media, and I started to say to myself, let me see. Is there something that people who are hitting Success Club are doing? Is there something that people who tell me they are quote unquote working, what are they doing? And so one of the first things I noticed is people weren't even posting, won't even posting. And in my personally coaches group, I literally said, if I owned a donut shop and the last time I made donuts or talked about donuts was last week, who the hell's buying donuts from me? And that is the one thing. And here's the thing. If you're just putting up a sweaty selfie, at least you are showing up. At least somebody knows that you are doing it. That's like half the battle. If you're not even showing up, then you don't have a business. And I have got to tell you, my husband and I are in a season of our life right now where life is just incredibly hard. incredibly hard and incredibly life altering. And I can't go into details as to what it is, but I am showing up. And I'm not just showing up with like some sad sack. I am showing up with energy. I am showing up with intention. I am showing up to help people because I really believe in this business. And I really believe that if I didn't have it, I really wouldn't know how to function right now. And so you best believe that I am going to show up every day. And you best believe I'm going to show up with the energy of telling people that this is what they need to do. And so if you're not posting at all, guess what? This is the greatest call, because tomorrow we start a brand new week. And the thing that I love about this business is you could totally poop the bed. I see a child, so I'm not going to curse. You could totally poop the bed. Like, you could have totally done nothing with your business. You could totally like have just been one big hot mess. And literally you get to wake up the next day and you get to change the course of your business, and people forgive you for it. People don't hold you hostage like, oh, well, you didn't show up last month, and so I'm not going to pay attention to you. You know, maybe you do need to show up more consistently so that people can start, you know, believing in you again. But nobody's closing the doors on you. Nobody's saying, hey, girl, you can't build a business here. And that is something we should all be grateful for. We should all be grateful that there is this forgiveness in this business, you know? Like, when I think of like Emily Falver's like number 3, I think, in the company now, or something like that. And she's been number 3 last year. Emily was like the girl that we would see like with Ashley, and she wasn't doing anything with her business. She was like a diamond, and then she fell out of diamond, and she was for 4 years doing that. And then all of a sudden, she jumped into the 80-day obsession. She was super, super consistent about showing up and about explaining what she was doing, and it blew up her business. And not only did it blow up her business, it brought her a coach who also hit elite within the first year. And if you didn't listen to the National Wake Up Call, you should listen to that one, because it's very true in that this business doesn't play favorites. It really is about showing up. And there's no business where you can just make money for showing up. Like, you know, like just like this business has a lot of forgiveness in it, it has a lot of, if I show up and I keep showing up, something's got to happen. Like, how awesome is that? You know? And so what I did was I wanted to be more constructive. I don't want to come on here and be like, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, because I think that sometimes people don't understand exactly where they might not be showing up. And, you know, one of the things that I've been doing is using the Success Club tracker, because on days that I have a lot of stress going on in my life, when I follow that tracker, it makes me be intentional. It makes me make sure that I'm not letting my emotions run my business. It makes me show up in all areas of my business. And so, you know, it's kind of like those containers. Like, have you ever done the containers and you're super like good with it, right? And then you're like, I got this. And then you start like eyeballing your portions. And then you go back to the containers and you're like, well, I've been eating 2 yellows, you know, like for every serving. Your business is the same way. And that tracker can kind of like have you be like, hey girl, like, we haven't talked about coaching like for a long time. We haven't invited anybody to coaching. And so it really is this awesome tool that you can use for, you know, even if you're a brand new coach, but it can also help if you're a veteran coach. It helps me, you know, make sure that I'm hitting. You know, when I look at my IG stories and I'm like, I'm on IG stories all day. Well, if it's my freaking dogs are not telling me any challenge facts. Like, they're cute, but they're not. And there are a lot of days that I noticed that I was doing that. I was on social media all day, but I wasn't doing anything intentional or really kind of leading anybody. So I'm going to share my screen. because I made kind of a thing, and I shared it in the group in case you wanted it in front of you. And I just called it reflections because honestly, that's what it is. It's not like this end all be all. And, you know, I hate to say it negative, but like there's reasons why your business isn't growing or it's not growing as fast. And here's the cool thing. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with whether you're good enough, has nothing to do with whether you're smart enough, has nothing to do with your worthiness. And it has everything to do with your actions. And so when you realize that, hey, my business isn't growing, but it's not something that's out of my jurisdiction that I can't fix or I can't enhance or I can't do better, it should make you feel good because it should make you feel like you're back in control with your thing. And so what I did is I broke this down between, you know, your actions, showing up every day, creating value, connecting with people, and then growing. And so, oh, this is out of order a little. So the first thing I did is I said, let's just talk about our workouts. Let's just look at what we're doing. And so I said, are you committed to a program? Because I looked at a lot of social media this week and I see people showing up, but I don't necessarily know what day they're on. I don't know what program they're doing. I don't know if things have changed up. Like one of the things that I do is no matter what program I do, I always take a selfie with like, you know, day 12, whatever, my IG stories. And one of the things that people like is I have like a chalkboard and I put like day 53 and I share whatever went on in my head. And so like whatever I have going on in my head, I share that quote in there and people love it. Like people are like, do you make that up or whatever? And I'm like, well, sometimes it's Autumn. And so if it's Autumn, I will like give her credit. But most of the time it's what I think about during my workout and stuff. And so people know, like, I'm on day 53, you know, people know that, oh, you know, this is like a 60-minute workout or whatever, because they are following you. And so that's the first thing that you can help clear up with your people. And, you know, I want you to think like this. And I think it was like a comedian. My dad used to watch a lot of comedians, and he always used to have this tagline. And his tagline is, you know, okay, explain it to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Like that was like his thing. And I forget the comedian. But like that's essentially what you need to do with your social media. Like explain it to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Like the 21-day fix. Explain it to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Like, and when you break it down like that, you actually can look at your posts and be like, wow, people don't even know what the hell the 21-day fix is. Like, you know, we start to use these words because we're in the Beachbody bubble and we don't realize that like it's like white noise because people don't know what the heck it is. Number 2, this is something that you know, so I want you to understand, guys, when I made this list, I actually did it for myself too. And one of the things that I have always done for almost 5 to 6 years is take a weekly before and after picture. And for the last 4 months, I have not done that. And guess what? My success points are lower. So Preeti, right, contributed. She's like, hey guys, you know, like we need to do a before and after picture. Like we need to do this, whatever. And so I got my ass and I did it because I might be one of the leaders, but I'm not the only leader. And if somebody tells me, hey, this is what I need to do, I'm going to take that advice. I had 150 people like that picture. I had a lot of comments. I had a lot of people message me because it wasn't just the before and after picture. It was the first time somebody was like, oh, she is doing a program. Like, oh, she is. And my whole thing was this. The last 3 weeks have been a effing nightmare. And instead of showing up and showing you my before and after picture and being like, oh, the last 3 weeks have been a nightmare and I ate like shit, but golly gee willikers, I'm going to get on that. No, I had great results. Why? Because I showed up every day, because I drank my shake, because I tried my best to eat. And so that becomes a really powerful thing, because there are people out there that are drowning and thinking that because they're drowning that they can't commit to something and they can't show up. And so we need to do that. Do they hear like what your results mean? If you tell somebody that you lost 10 pounds and you lost like 10 inches, like what does that mean? Does that mean like, oh my God, I got these pair of jeans that I could never wear and now I wear them and I think I'm going to wear them every day of my life because I'm so excited? Like, where is the energy and the like, I'm so excited? And how they can join you. Every time you do a before and after picture, you need to invite people to do this with you. Number 3, do people see evidence of this virtual community that you have? And like, again, like I'm a 2-year-old, like, where's the evidence? Sometimes when I do IG stories, I take my laptop and I just like kind of film what's going on in my challenge group. Or I might share like, oh my goodness, there's this girl, Debbie, and she's so excited because there needs to be evidence that because if you're talking about this awesome online community and there's no evidence, people aren't going to believe you. People are going to be like, okay, girl, like, yeah, I got an imaginary friend too. Whereas like, if there's evidence, people are like, oh, that'd be cool. Like it looks like everybody shows up and everybody like does their workout, right? Number 4, do people see you making hard choices? On the National Wake Up Call, she said that she joined Emily because Emily was working out with rocks at Disneyland or Disney World. And she was like, hey, if Emily can work out with rocks in Disneyland, like, I think I got this. And so are you sharing when you're doing those hard choices? Because I got to tell you, I think most people think Beachbody coaches are just these crazy people who drink Energize and they just naturally like to work out. And that's not true. There's a lot of hard decisions we make. But if we're not showing people what we're doing when we're stressed, when our schedules are super busy, like we're not giving them evidence that they can do it too. And then this, if you're a brand new coach, it's okay. But if you're a veteran coach, how many programs have people watched you complete from beginning to start and have an explanation of what the process was like? And here's the thing, if you're a brand new coach, then you better be working on that. You better be doing the 3-day refresh or the 21-day fix or shift shop or something so that you can complete and start a program. And you know what? If you're a veteran coach and people haven't seen that from you for a while, go do a 21-day program. Do it, stick to it, show people, tell them why you're doing it. That's how you evolve. That's how you get more people. The people who came into my business through yoga are different than the people who came into my business through 80-day obsession. But that's how my business continues to grow because of the programs that I do. And there'll be different people joining me for the 100-day meltdown. I have to remember what that's called before it comes out. All right, let's talk about eating and nutrition. This is a big one. Because literally, when I started to look at my own business, I used to talk about this a lot. And this used to be the number one thing that people used to follow me for. And then again, I stopped doing it. And so, part of the reason I stopped doing it was because I started to do 2B mindset. But that was stupid because 2B mindset, there are things that I do. And there are ways that I think. And I should have been showing them that. And so, that was something that I just picked up on my own that I need to do. And so do people see examples of what you eat on like a semi-daily basis? Do they get a feel for what you eat and how it makes it easier for you? or how it makes it that you're more successful. You know, people love when I share all the time, like the little things that I buy, like, hey, this is great. It's tuna. It comes with its own fork. Super easy to eat. Like, that's such a simple thing to do. Number 2, do people understand that you don't diet and that you eat and you have a life? Because I think what people see is they see this, oh, I'm using these containers, and then they see the, oh, I ate like crap and I'm getting back on track. And so it like becomes this kind of conflicting thing that you're saying. And so do you explain to them how this plan works? Like, have you taken time? Have you done a video? Have you shared? You know, like that's as simple as like showing the containers and being like, look, this is my dinner. This is how I measured it. Things like that. Do they see you meal prep or give tips on how you eat during the week? Literally, that used to be one of my number 1 videos, is every Sunday I would go over how I meal prep. Now, here's the thing. I don't meal prep anymore a lot because I've changed the way I'm eating. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't plan, or I shouldn't share my tips on like maybe why I don't meal prep, like how I do that, how I'm able to stay within my weight and not have to meal prep. You know, there's a lot of people that don't want to meal prep. And if you can successfully show them how you're able to do that, that might be helpful. Number 4, do you remind people of your struggles with food now or in the past and how you're changing that? Like, are you changing how you feel about food? You know, are you talking about like, wow, you know, when I used to go to the supermarket, I literally used to buy 2 candy bars every time I went to the supermarket without like, and I wouldn't even have thought to not do that. That's how much of a sugar addiction I had. And so now I go to the supermarket and I see the candy and I see the 20 ounces of Diet Coke every time I go to the grocery store, and it doesn't even occur to me to actually drink it or eat that. That's how much. So that's just like a little example of a story. And believe it or not, when you tell people you don't drink Diet Coke, that's a huge thing. They're like, how did you do that? Number 5, do people see evidence that this clearly works for you? And here's the thing, guys, I'm not asking you to be a size 0, and I'm not asking you to be obsessed with your weight, but you should look like this is working for you. And you should be sharing that. You know, one of the greatest things, if people really want to lose weight and keep weight off, earn money for it. Like, you know, part of the reason why I don't overeat is because it's my business. It's like being an actress, right? If you're an actress and you're going out for roles, you can't gain 10 to 20 pounds, not if you want to keep working. And so it's almost a healthy way to look at it. Like, hey, I got to take care of my body. You know, could you imagine saying that to people? Like, sorry, I can't have cake. I make money on my body. That'll be a conversation starter. All right, let's look at coaching. This is the biggest one, right? We all struggle with this. It's okay. We should make a support group. Hi, my name is Kim. I hate talking about coaching. Do people know you are a coach and hear that pretty frequently? Like, and don't worry about people who are going to be like, oh, I guess she's talking about being a coach again. Yeah, I am talking about being a coach again. Like, I don't mind saying that because my life has changed because of it. And so I don't mind telling people that I'm a coach. Do people see evidence that you are a coach? Again, that's that like, okay, I'm a 2-year-old. What evidence is there? Maybe it's you're taking a picture tonight and being like, hey, you know, I'm learning. Maybe it's a picture you take somebody else, like you in front of your computer or you holding your phone. Get somebody else to take the picture and you could be like, hey, you know, this is what I'm doing. You know, I sit for 2 hours and take my son to football practice. And do you know how many people are just like sitting in their car doing nothing? And so, you know, that's a post. And that provides evidence of when people can coach and how they can coach. Do people see daily examples of why you coach, or is coaching working for you? You know, like I shared a post this morning about how yesterday was a really hard day for me, but yet I got to help out another coach that was struggling. And it made me feel better. And it made me take away from my own problems. And I don't think people realize that about coaching. They're like, you know, they're thinking that, you know, they're trying to swim and keep their head above water, but they don't really understand that when you help somebody, that actually makes you feel good. And do you share often the financial piece that you're earning? And let's say you haven't earned anything. That doesn't mean that you can't share with people what your financial plans are with what you want to do with the money. You know, if you're doing this because you want to be able to pay for college, or you're doing this because you have credit card debt and you know that paying the minimum is not going to work anymore, I'm telling you, people would pay attention to that, because everybody's got credit card debt and they have no clue how the freak to get out of it. And if you're younger than 30, you best be talking about student loans if you have them, because a lot of people are drowning in that. And so just because you haven't made money doesn't mean you don't get to talk about the opportunity to make money. Number 5, are you sharing and messaging and using the coaching third-party tools? So if we have a recruiting call, are you inviting people? Are you sharing the calls? We made links to all the calls. Are you sharing, you know, there's a 10-minute video that we add on to the end of our recruiting calls. That's something you could literally send to somebody about coaching. You know, are you connecting with people? Like if you have somebody crushing it in your challenge group, every week you need to be telling them that they should be a coach. I have people that I have been like asking to coach for 6 months. And I'm like, and I don't do it to be a pain in the ass. I just do it like, hey girl, when am I going to get you to start coaching? When am I going to get you to realize that you'd be amazing? Like, who's going to get mad at that kind of message? Somebody telling them how freaking amazing they are. Value. This is a really big thing, because I think a lot of people get stuck in the sweaty selfie and doing 21-day fix, and that's it. And unfortunately, you know, I want you to pat yourself on the back that you are showing up, because that's half the battle. But I want you to simply understand that if you work on that, it can actually enhance your business. And so one of the things that I've realized is this: anyone that I have given my money to, whether it's like to build my business, whether it's like education, they have provided value for me before I even spent $1. And so like I just joined Melanie Mitro's thing. She has like a chick influencer thing. And so I just joined it. Let me explain to you why I joined it. She has given me so much free content that I felt was of value, that I was like, I think she'd be a good input of my money. And so anytime I've given money, whether it's Shailene Johnson, whether it's like Maria Forleo, it is because they provided value to me without me spending a freaking dollar. And that's what made me say, I need to go pay them. I need to go see what they're doing. So number 1, are you doing videos on topics that people want to learn about? Like, think about your demographic, think about your person. What are some things with health and fitness that they struggle with? What are some things that they struggle with just in general? What can you talk about? What could you post about? What could you do a video about? You could like literally make a whole list. And here's the thing, I did 2 videos today. You know what I did? I just changed my shirt and changed my earrings. So I'm not going to post those videos on the same day. I'm going to save that. And so I understand that some of you are working a full-time job and some of you have a lot of pressure on you. I get it. And so, you know what? On a day that you're dressed up and you look nice, change your shirt. Take a picture so that you have that on a day that's totally crazy. Number 2, are you listening and asking your people what they need help with and asking them for ideas? If there's anything that I realize is people love to give their opinion. Like, ask them, what is something about health and fitness that you feel like people don't talk enough about? What is there something that I could, if I talked more about this, it would help you? And what's funny is that you might get ideas that you've never thought of. Like, you're like, wow, I thought that was something easy. And when you ask people their opinion, you're building trust with them. Number 3, do you share often things that help you? Okay. I was like, what language is that, Kim? Do you share things that help you, no matter what they are? I always have this idea. And here's the thing. I used to do this before Beachbody. And so if I found something that I really loved, I would share it. Like on my IG stories, I've been sharing how I haven't been sleeping. And so I got this tea last night, and it actually helped me sleep. I have gotten my first night of full sleep, like probably in a month. And so I shared the tea. It's just such a simple little thing, but it, again, adds to that trust factor. And it makes people, if you can make people go out to the supermarket and go buy a freaking tea, you can eventually make them buy Shakeology. Number 4, are you someone okay, so I want you to take away your sweaty selfies. Do you give other value to people so that people would want to learn more? And so we took your sweaty selfies away. Are you posting stuff that's of value besides I did my 21-day fix or whatever? And for a lot of people, if you take away your sweaty selfie, there's literally nothing. And that's the problem. And number 5, do you seek before you post to ask, or so apparently I've written this in a different language. I promise I wasn't drinking when I wrote this. What I meant to say is this. Every time you post, check yourself. Check yourself. Just think to yourself, what is this important for? Like if you're like, I did the 21-day fix and I lifted with 15 pounds. Like, okay, girl. Like, why is that important? And sometimes when you check yourself, it will help you realize that you need to kind of go a little deeper. Maybe you have never lifted 15 pounds in your freaking life. And you're like, holy cow. Like, I remember I used to go to Walmart and see those heavy weights and think like, I could never do that. Like, there's a reason for that post. No, so let's go to the next one. I think this is the last one. No. Apparently I was writing a lot. So this is about connecting and inviting with people, right? This is the Achilles heel for a lot of people. And the thing is that if you can increase your connecting and inviting just a little bit and be consistent about it, you can actually get big results out of it. And so are you adding people daily and making connections in your warm and cold market? And I don't mean people who are finding you. Like the people who are finding you, that's awesome. I get about 10 people that find me every day on my Instagram. But I'm talking about people you sought out. And so what I did today, and I've been doing it every week, is I've been going to Philadelphia sports teams and I've been hashtagging, looking up the hashtag like Eagles Diva, or like whatever the women for that sports team call themselves. And I go to the tag and I start looking at the women. And some of the women are not my people, and some of the women probably look like they are my people. And so I follow them and I like a couple of their things. That in and of itself brings me new people, believe it or not, especially on Instagram. And so that's not something I was typically doing. You know, if you have a local event in your area that's like a big event, check the hashtag on it. Start looking at the people that are hashtagging that event. Because if people are hashtagging event, it means that they're kind of active on social media, which is half the battle. And start looking at those people. You know, if you have a local restaurant that you love, see who's hashtagging that local restaurant and start liking those people. Like literally, when people tell me I can't find anybody, I'm like, bullshit. Because literally there is billions of people out there. It's just that you get stuck with thinking outside the box. Number 2, are you utilizing a method to build your contacts and develop relationships with people? And so what I mean by this is like Shailene has the 5-3-1, I think, where, you know, you like 5 pictures of the person, you comment on 3 of their posts, and then eventually you send them a message. Like, are you working somehow in that kind of a way so that you can build your contacts? Are you building an email list? You know, like I have an email list of over like 3,000 people that I've just collected over time. And so like if the internet went dead, I would still have that email list. Number 3, are you inviting every day or almost every day to a challenge group or coaching? Because if you're not, chances are you are not going to get enough people to talk to. You just aren't. And I don't care if it's just 3 people a day. Like if you're inviting 3 people a day to a challenge group, I would bet you're probably going to hit your goals by the end of the month. Number 4, are you showing enough of your own personality that not only somebody would buy from you, that they would like you? And I don't mean like you so that you be fake. I mean like you for you. Like, hey girl, I want to have a glass of wine with you. Hey girl, I'd love to have coffee for you. Like, are you allowing your own personality to come through so that somebody's like, hey, you know, I do think that people come to my social media because they just want to see what I'm doing. Because they just like me. They want to see what I talk about. They want to see what I'm reading. They want to see what I'm wearing. You know, that's your personality that comes out. And again, I don't want you to be fake. I want you to be real. Most of the time, people are failing in their business because they're showing up as this imposter. And if they really just showed up as themselves, as scary as that is, and as, you know, as hard as that is, they're actually going to see and reap the rewards of that. And then is follow-up something you're consistent with? Because let's face it, guys, follow-up is like what most people are doing, is that they're just following up in a way that's super consistent. And if you're not writing things down, if you're not, you know, I think the biggest lie that people tell themselves is that if somebody said no, or if somebody ghosted them or whatever, that means that they should not follow up. You should follow up with somebody unless they put a restraining order against you. Because it's not you. It literally is them. Like I had a lady that like literally when I look at our emails, my head spins. And then she eventually told me that she didn't have time. It's not a good time for her. You best believe next month I'm going to ask her how her time is. And here's the thing. It makes people feel like, hey, she really did give a crap about me. Because if you reached out to somebody once and they didn't buy something right then and there, And then you like totally like let them like they'd be like, oh, I guess she had a quota. I guess she had something to sell and she's like gone. And then this is really important because I know for me that especially when my life gets super difficult, it is the community that I feel has the most value. And I do believe that sometimes people don't take advantage of the community, and sometimes people take advantage of it, but take advantage of it in the wrong way. And so are you contributing to the community by sharing, showing up in it, taking care of your people? You know, like you invited somebody into this group. Are you taking care of them? Are you showing that you're part of this community? Are you contributing what works for you? You know, like often you'll see my coaches, you know, they're not asking me permission. I'm not your mama. You don't have to ask me permission. If you have something that you think is of value in the community, share it. You know, if you think that there's something you've learned, share it. Number 2, are you someone that people think is a team player? Like I would bet you right now, I want you to think about the people in the Fitspire empire that are just team players. You would think of certain people. And so think about what their attributes are. Think about what they're doing. Most of the time they're sharing. Most of the time they're super supportive. And so why can't that be you? And it's okay if you're new. We like new people. We don't eat you. You can sit with us, but you got to show up. You got to be part of it, right? We got to get to know you. Number 3, do you take matters into your own hands to help build our community? And that's kind of what I was talking about before. Like, do you share what works? Like, you know, the 2B Mindset group kind of died, but I know Melissa, who was like a new coach, would go in there and she'd post and she'd be like, all right, guys, how you doing? Like, what are you eating for dinner today? How much water did you drink? I love that. I freaking love that when people do that. Number 4, do you show up regularly in community spaces? Are you on team calls? Like, would people see your face on a team call? Do people see you pop up? Like every Thursday, I do a grateful post. And it kind of breaks my heart that there's only like 10 people that post on that. Because it's like, what are we doing if we only have 10 people out of 200 that are grateful? And then number 5, and this is more like, what do you do? Do you isolate yourself from group things? And there's a lot of reasons why people isolate themselves. They isolate themselves when they're new because they're like, oh, I don't belong here. And trust me, whenever I've been in a test group, the first week of the group, I am super quiet. I don't post, I don't do anything because I really convinced myself that I don't belong in there and that all these people are friends and they've known each other forever and nobody likes me. Like, I do the same stuff. And what I realized is that when I stop isolating myself, I actually enjoy the process. What's the big deal, right? Like, oh, isolation is not good. Especially when you're going through a hard time. You know, I was talking to Jen Palmer about this. I was like, if people only knew how amazing having people who will pray for you, people who think about you, people who like, you know, I said to Jen, I'm like, if people like really saw the power of what it's like to be in a group of women who support them and who are like, God, I need a prayer today. Like, there are so many people in our team that are struggling, and not struggling because they're screw ups, struggling because just life is hard right now. Like, life is the season that is hard. And instead of like coming into the group and being a part of it, they're isolating themselves. And I know for myself that isolation does not work. It really doesn't. It makes you feel awful. And so I have been able to share with people, like, could you pray for me? Like, you know, go to Jen Palmer, who, you know, I know her faith is amazing, and say, hey, Jen, could you pray for my family? She's like, absolutely. Like, how amazing is that? And you have that. And then last but not least, growth, personal growth. Like, are you really reading personal development on a daily basis? Like, it really is a part of your life. And number two, are you an information gatherer? Are you an action taker? Because I think a lot of people gather information and then they don't do anything with it. And so if you are in the information gatherer stage, that could be affecting your business because you're not taking action. And nobody's asking you to take action in big things. Like maybe it's like you learned like some little thing, and so you're going to put it in the, you know, in your posts. Number three, here's a big one. Are you sharing on social media what you're learning in your personal development? Oftentimes when I listen to personal development, I will put something in my notes, like something that'll like jolt my memory about like what I read. You know, like I was listening to David Goggins and he was like, man, he's like, the reason I work out is because I work out for life. He's like, life is the most tumultuous endurance sport there is. And he's like, and that's why I show up and that's why I kick my butt. And I wrote that down because that'll be a post. And so you have to take what you're doing in personal development and do it. Most people do not do personal development. I did an IG story, and 80% of women in that IG story told me they do no personal development. None. And so when you show up and you're like, hey, I'm reading this book, or hey, I listened to this podcast, like I'm always in my IG stories. If I listen to a great podcast, I share that in my IG stories. Do you grow your business? Like, are you learning something? Like maybe you're learning about the back office. Maybe you're learning about how to invite. Maybe you're learning about whatever. Are you taking steps to grow? And here's the thing. You have Google and YouTube, and literally there is hundreds upon hundreds of free information. I remember one weekend, I like literally watched every one of Melanie Mitro's videos. And I learned a lot just from doing that. And here's what I think. Whenever I seek out and I do a video and I learn something, I always feel better. I always feel like, wow, you know, I'm doing something. I'm like taking action. And then number 5 is a big one. Do you know and understand the compensation plan and how to earn money? Because that's important. This is a job, you know, like I remember my husband asking me like, okay, how do you earn money? I'm like, I don't know. But guess what? 5 months later, when I learned how to earn money, you best believe I started hitting Success Club. You best believe I started becoming Emerald. So that is just some of the things that kind of when I did reflection on myself, I did reflection on what I saw other coaches doing, what's needed. I do think that for some reason, people are feeling like they're buried right now, and they're not. They're planted. They are planted, and they are planted for amazing things. And so one of the reasons why I wanted you to bring your glass up is because of this. And I had a conversation with a coach about this. And I said, okay, I said, what's today's date? And she was like, today's the 21st. I said, okay. I said, I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine May 21st, 2020. And we are going to go out and we are going to have a drink and we are going to be in a different place. And we are going to think different mentally, and our business is going to be doing different things. And that's what I want you to focus on. And so cheers to that, ladies. No matter what's going on in your life, this business is a blessing. It is something to be grateful for, and it's something that we literally should be shouting from the rooftops. And so if you'll do it, I'll do it. So cheers. All right, ladies, thanks for being on. Take care of yourself, and I will upload this to the Fitspire group. Bye, bye.